It is now 7 o'clock. We will begin the May 1st, 2012 regular meeting for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. We do have a quorum. Tonight, I will be handling the prayer, and the pledge will be by Vice Mayor Farmer. Please stand. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this night, and thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon this city. Be with each and every one of us as we make decisions that we feel in our heart is the best decisions that we can make for the citizens of Laverne. Be with the men and women each day that fight for this country and fight for our freedoms to be here tonight and honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I hope everyone's had time to review the minutes of the April 3rd, 2012 public hearing and regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will now go to our department reports, beginning with Fire Department.
Mayor, Alderman, for the month of April 2012, total number of calls was 75, consisted of 4 structure fires, 15 fire alarms, 1 vehicle fire, 1 grass fire, 3 hazardous materials calls, 21 motor vehicle accidents, 20 medical calls, 6 emergency miscellaneous calls, and 4 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. Average response time for the month of April 2012 was 3.1 minutes. The total water consumption for the same month was 250 gallons. Any questions?
Good job. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Police Department.
Mayor, Alderman, you should have there in your packet, I hope, the report. You have a PowerPoint there that's kind of hits the highlight of the report. Go ahead. That gives you an idea, calendar year to date through April, how we're comparing still to last year. Our total calls for service are down 25.7%, and total offenses reported are down 11.5%. Arrests as well are down 20.6%. Traffic stops are down slightly at 4.3%, and citations overall are 5.5%. Traffic crashes are up, however. Property damage and injury, 9.9%. Alarms that we respond to are up 6.8%. Animal calls are actually down about 7.5%. And EMS calls are up 4.1% because LPD responds initially to EMS calls. That kind of just gives you a picture in a bar form of those raw numbers there, from the decrease in over 11,000, almost 12,000 total calls for service during the first 4 months, down to about 9,000 or so. That again shows you total offenses, and the various ones. Assaults are up 47.4%. Burglaries actually down 50%. Domestic assaults are actually down for those first 4 months. They were up for a while. Thefts are up very slightly, 1.9%. That's all thefts. Vandalism's down 22.8%. Rape, sexual batteries down 42.9%. However, harassment and intimidation offenses are up 51.6%, and fraud's up 88.9%. And harassment, intimidation, and the frauds, there's not a whole lot we can do about those. The new patrol vehicles are being delivered to Fort of Murfreesboro. We've actually got one here. If you haven't seen it yet, you're more than welcome to look at it, ride in it, go all over it. Hopefully those will begin coming to us and going for the equipment. The purchase orders were cut last Friday, wasn't it? It was Thursday or Friday, for all the equipment and the vehicles too, after the financing was done. You should start seeing them hopefully in about 45 days or so, actually on the road. and that's a good thing. We've got one vehicle that Ken Atkins driving and hadn't had any trouble out of it at all. It's an '04 Impala, and all of a sudden in the past 3 weeks, it's gone down 4 or 5 times. So things are really happening to some of them. 7 new officers started today. They were in here this morning. It's a very diverse group. It's a very good group. And Fred can comment about how they acted today, because he had them for the most part, most of the day, he and Lieutenant Rue this afternoon. And then I get them in the morning for the whole morning. So they get to listen to the old guy. And then we'll have one more young man starting next Tuesday. He's at Camp Shelby right now in a warrior leadership course for Army Reserve. And as soon as he finishes that, they have changed it on him. He'll be here next Tuesday to start as well. 7 of those folks actually have to go to Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy for basic police school. They'll start on the 27th of May. They'll graduate on August the 3rd. And I'll remind you all of that, because that's a pretty sizable group with the vacancies that we filled. 9 officers right now are also at Toledo. They're in the field training officer training program. We had 9 in the event someone's off or sick or injured or so on. We have to have those field training officers to properly evaluate these new folks when they come in. So they're training. We have 9 sergeants. All of them have been in training this week in Franklin, Monday through tomorrow, personnel evaluations and how to handle those and how to build those, and they'll be working over the next few weeks to put together a proper law enforcement-based evaluation form for our officers. That hadn't been done in a long time in the police department, so that's the first step in getting that done. May the 13th through 19th is National Police Week, and May the 15th, since 1962, has been observed as a National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Day. And there's a ceremony held in Washington, D.C., and we will have some folks who will be attending, the FOP and the individual officers, and then some other funding sources too. Private individuals are paying for those folks to go. It's not costing the city for their travel. But they're going up for the National Police Week. But each of you have a blue ribbon there. There's a group called Concerns of Police Survivors. If you remember, in December I discussed with you the lighting of a light, a blue light at Christmas time, to remember those who've given their lives in the line of duty in law enforcement. COPS is a group that's there to support survivors of law enforcement officers who have died in the line of duty, whether they're family members, co-workers, friends, etc. And each year COPS does programs for the families there, the new families who have lost a loved one. We're meeting this week with a family that lives in the city of Laverne that we were not aware of until last week, who lost a son in Alabama last year, in Jemison, Alabama. And we'll meet with them because our folks who are attending will be escorting those family members while they're there. And we weren't even aware of it and found out almost by accident, to be honest with you. But the blue ribbon is something that you can tie on your vehicle or on your mailbox or whatever to show your support for those family members, co-workers, etc., who have lost friends and loved ones last year, during 2011. And I would also remind you, the 17th of this month, there will be a memorial service, Rutherford County annual memorial service on the plaza at Murfreesboro City Hall at 9 a.m. That's a Thursday morning. 13th through the 19th, you'll see us wearing mourning bands for that week in honor of those who have given their lives in the line of duty. And we'll participate in the Rutherford County Memorial Service plus some others here in our area. But I'd also like to remind you there is a family of a young man who lost his life in Afghanistan. In Williamson County, the young man's coming home to be laid to rest, and I'd like to ask you to remember that family, friends, fellow soldiers, etc., as they go through this tough time right now too, because that young man gave his life for our country, not only for our state but our country too. The One thing that we did do this past weekend, instead of you got milk, you got drugs, but the t-shirts this year said, do you know what's in your medicine cabinet? Well, a lot of people did, and they brought us a total of 62 plus pounds of medications that we have that DEA will pick up and take to be destroyed. So that was a successful event, and to those who helped and supported, thank you. Also, if you have an opportunity and you haven't looked, look at the front of the police department headquarters. Thanks to Parks and Rec, employees who worked very hard, to the Garden Club who came on Saturday on the weekend and more than once and worked very hard. It looks awesome over there, and hopefully in the next few weeks it'll look a little bit better. Any questions?
I have a couple. What reason do you have that the arrest rate is down 20%? That seems like awful big.
Well, part of it, if you look, the total offenses are down. For one thing, the offenses reported to us, so crime's down. And some of these things that are down are difficult to latch on to someone anyway. With harassment and intimidation, that's usually somebody go and do a warrant, and then the person, either that or issue a misdemeanor citation. So there are a lot of variables there. Not only is the crime rate down, and it's continuing, but that's the biggest reason for the arrest rate being down. Our cleared percentage actually increased last year in 2011 compared to 2010.
And you mentioned on the workshop that on the take back of the drugs, the police department, you drop them off any day at the police department back there.
Any day at the police department, there's a container there in the front lobby right by the window where they can bring them and drop them in. I would ask for one thing though, please don't bring Sharpies and drop them in for us. We don't need the Sharpies there. All we need is the medication. The Sharpies, we have to go an extra route, and we may even have to pay to have them disposed of.
Sharp, you're talking about the syringes?
The syringes and needles, yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Rescue. We're seeing a new face tonight. Welcome, Chris.
We weren't here last week, last meeting,
I had a
so.
black eye.
Good evening, Aldermen and Mayor. The month of April, we had one medical call. We had 22 motor vehicle accidents. We had 2 traffic assists. We had 60 others. We had 2 business meetings, 2 training sessions, 6 public relations, 4 others, 6 fundraisers and miscellaneous, and our average response time was 5.8. We had a total of 105 standbys. Total miles was 2,368. Total man hours was 1,918. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Codes?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Alderman. The Codes Department for the month of April issued 4 single-family dwelling permits, 7 commercial permits, 10 miscellaneous permits, 4 sign permits, 1 garage and shed permit, 4 other permits. Total number of permits issued for the month was 30. Complaints called in for the month was 88 for tall grass, 5 for junk cars and yards, 16 trash and yards, and 30 other. Impact fees for the month were $3,536 for road, $1,244 for park, and $448 for police. Monthly revenue with impact fees was $19,400. Total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date is 10. Total number of single-family permits issued during the same time period in 2011 was 6. Total number of all permits issued this year-to-date is 83.
Any questions? Thanks, Kyle. Parks and Recreation?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. You can see by the numbers up here, we've made the transition to outside from inside. We had 20,500 visitors in the park this month. That's sizable. That being said, our indoor activities have gone down quite a bit, but our total attendance for the month of April was 23,613 folks. So it's here, and we're excited that summer's here and everything's going on. We're still working on one position to fill in Parks and Recreation. We got a huge tournament this weekend. Thank you in advance to Ricky and the medical folks for having the all-terrain vehicle out there, and Chief for the efforts of the police department. Camp signups are also this Saturday from 9 o'clock at the Parks and Rec building. That's going to fill up fast, so if you have any interest at all in coming to the summer camp that we're providing, and all the information is online. I'm not going to try to say it here because I'll forget something or misspeak, but it's all online. That's Saturday at 9 o'clock at the Parks and Recreation building. Also, this Saturday, the senior prom at the Senior Center is going on, so I invite all of you to come out for that. The next Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting is May the 21st at 6. The Senior Citizens Advisory Committee is May the 17th at 4. And the Greenway Advisory Committee meeting is also May the 21st at 7. Are there any questions of me?
And the prom is Friday night?
I'm sorry, Saturday night,
Saturday night,
May the
okay.
5th.
Just so we're clear, the visitors in the park, that's actual vehicles, so that's vehicle traffic right there, so that's typically like,
Yes.
what, say 2.5?
2.5 times that number, so we could say that there's 60, upwards of 50,000, between 50 and 60,000 people in the park. And I think a lot of them are there right about now. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Finance?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Aldermen. Tonight's financial report represents through March the 31st, which is 9 months into our fiscal year. For the general fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $3.5 million. Local sales tax, we've collected $2.6 million in local sales tax. That's $146,000 better than what we budgeted at this point, and it's $172,000 better than this time last year. In the State Street Aid, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $301,000. In stormwater, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $274,000. And in the water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $643,000. Second page represents balances in our bank accounts. We have approximately $6 million in the general fund, $1.2 million in State Street Aid, $50,000 in the senior fund, $41,000 in special revenue fund or the drug fund, $172,000 in the library fund. In the grant fund, we have $64,000. Stormwater, we have approximately $2.3 million. Capital project streets, we have approximately $3.7 million. Capital projects, Parks and Rec, we have approximately $17,000. In the police impact fund, we have approximately $90,000. In the water sewer fund, we have an approximate balance of $6.5 million. And in the 511 employee benefit fund, we have approximately $223,000. In the last page is a comparison to prior year. For the general fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $3.1 million. And in our water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $2.8 million. Any questions?
Any questions? Thanks, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Library.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. In April 2012, we checked out 7,389 items. We had 7,726 patrons visit the library with an average per day of 351. We issued 27 new juvenile cards and 110 new adult cards last month and ran 62 programs in April with a total attendance of 908. We had 2,553 people come in to use our computers. May is usually a quiet month for us. We're getting ready for summer reading, which will kick off on June 1st. But we do have a couple of important events that are going to happen. The first one is our family scavenger hunt, and I hope you've all turned in your forms. They were due tonight. But we're having a party this Saturday at 2 o'clock. We will be serving refreshments if that encourages anybody to attend. We've changed the format from previous years. We used to do it as a kids-only event, but this year we wanted to include the whole family, so hence the change. Our spring book sale will happen on Saturday the 19th. It starts at 9 a.m. and goes through 3 p.m. We've got books, videos, and more for everyone of any age. And this is one of 2 major fundraisers we do annually. We hope everyone will come out, pick up a book or 7, and make a donation. And if you're not interested in that, the library board is working on another fundraiser for us, a Krispy Kreme sale. And I hope to come back with more information about that next month. And story times are off this month, so we can prepare for summer reading, as I mentioned earlier. And we have full schedules of programs for everyone from birth to seniors, with reading programs for all levels and fabulous prizes for everyone. Are there any questions for me? Thank you.
Water treatment.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Good to see you back this week, Mayor.
It's good to
Hope
be
you had
back.
a grand recovery. What we have is our water treatment summary for the month of March of this year compared to March of 2011. See how volume process is down a little bit this year. We're getting that double check this next week. We're having somebody come in and calibrate the meters just to make sure we're doing right. But it kind of goes in line because we're using the membrane unit more, so that's actually water that's coming in from the processed water to the finished water. So in the calculations, we're pretty sure, but just to get a double check on everything. All of our testing parameters are well inside the standards. Chemical usage is pretty much comparative to the last year with the decrease in water, so we had a decrease in chemical usage. Our maintenance for the month of March was at $4,750, which leaves a balance in our maintenance fund of a little over $52,000. Our quality calls this month were mainly about pressure calls. People just changing weathers or whatever. We go out and kind of educate them on their pressure reducing valves. Rainfall was a little over 3.5 inches, which puts us still about an inch below for the year. And we'll kind of watch that because the lake's not rising like it should now. And that's going to affect water quality down the line if rainfall is a shortage. Cross-connection program's still going well. We collected $1,760 in inspection fees for the month. We just got the final copy of our water quality report for 2011. I forwarded to Bruce to kind of take a look at it, so we should have that for presentation next couple of days.
Sounds good. Questions? Thank you. Public Works.
Mayor, Alderman, good evening. In the month of April, sewer saw 123 work orders. That's up 16 to last month. It saw 3.5 more overtime hours at 44. It was 40.5 last month. In the water department, we saw 135 work orders. That's up 8 to March. You see 2 meter sets. That's flat to March. 95,000 gallons not sold. That's primarily due to flushing late month. Robert Brooks working with Rob Kimbrough on that. The water department overtime saw 39 hours. That's down 18.5 from March. In the street department, we saw 35 chipper calls. That's up 6 to March. We saw 504 chipper pickups. That's up 114 to March. We hauled 35 loads and about 50 tons. That's up 6 loads and 7 tons to March. The workhouse program gave us 353 hours. That's flat or within a couple of hours of what we used the workhouse for in March. Asphalt installed, a few lines down, 395 tons. That's up substantially, about 1,000%. That's up 362 tons to March. April is when we primarily made our roads. Okay. Coal mix bags, 12.5 bags more in April than in March, but you're going to start to see that go away. Mr. Russell's worked us out a better method to get hot mix at a better price. Street light and traffic light maintenance, 14 requests there. That's just up 1 to March. Street light new installation requests. That's up 2 to last month. Mowing, 392 hours we spent on cutting equipment. That's up 233 hours to March. Obviously, the season's coming around. Street department overtime was at 43.5 hours in the month, and that's up just 3.5 hours to March. In fleet last time, we promised you we would be accounting for things a little bit differently going forward. Justin Saunders, our new mechanic, as of about 6 weeks ago, is gathering some data that we can now trend. So he's telling you here that he saw 75 vehicle repairs in the month. 6 of those were major, 20 of those were minor, with some detail there called out. And some of this work we can't do. We don't have the skills or the tooling in some cases. So depending on, how major that repair might be, sometimes we send it out. Notice oil changes there at 19 in the month. Valvoline does that for us. We don't do that internally. I don't know if you're aware of that. Tires, 16, 3 batteries, 8 brake sets, 6 wiper sets. Equipment repair, we also, of course, maintain when we can our heavy equipment, not just the fleet vehicles. So you see some work that he did there, including some overtime on major and minor work on our equipment repair, tractors and backhoes and such. Wins in the month of April in sewer. Jerry Zimlo completed the repair center for grinder pumps. You guys recall approving that about 90 days ago. So it's now up and running. His group also installed 3 additional rain tights in Hurricane Creek. We're going to see that come through and reduce charges out of Metro for inflow. He started his solids removal from lift stations. You guys recall about a month ago approving a company called TAMCO to come in and pump our lift stations. They're working already, and they're well into it, and they're going to be through the first quarter round by the end of this month. We also have Lance Allison and Michael Dietz, operators on the sewer crew, in training this week and taking a collection system 2 exam Thursday. In the water group, we had 2 new hires begin in April. Maurice Shaw and David Ward transferred in from streets. We completed at really the 9th inning in the month, the Mason Road tie-in, and I got from Jamie Fitzpatrick today an email that they hope to be paving out there on Mason Road by this time next week. The Mini X and the trailer that you guys approved about 2 meetings ago is here, and it's already our most frequently used piece of heavy equipment. It allows us to dig a hole, much like we had in the past, but more surgically, without as much damage, and have to come back and seed and straw and that kind of thing. 2 operators, Norman Johnson and Steve Welch, are taking distribution 2 exams this week, so they're studying in April for those exams coming up Thursday. In the streets arena, Streets has jumped in with Justin, our mechanic, and cleaned up around the shop. We've hauled off a lot of junk and scrap metal and actually generated about $2,000 back to general fund. We hired 3 employees in Streets: Stephen No, Jeff Gill, and Alan Swain. Alan's first day was today, so thanks to Fred and Janice and Joanne where she had helped. We're not full crew. We don't have 1 opening. It's the first time since I got here in September. We don't have any openings, so we're really stoked about that. All of the paving that was bid out is complete. We're now waiting on regeneration of funds back to State Street Aid to start back in July. Guardrails, you guys recall we asked you to bid out guardrail work. I believe the number came back at 39,000, something like that, and we're about 60% through that work already out in the field. We put about 3 tons of patch mix in potholes, and as I mentioned before, we're now buying that in bulk at a better price instead of by the bag. In fleet, some wins for the month. MARTA was, as best I can tell, it's my first MARTA event, but I hear it was executed more efficiently and stress-free than ever before. We cleaned up the shop, we organized tooling, we rationalized obsolete parts hoards. We sold some steel and some metal there, again putting some money back into general fund. We set up our lot and process for obsolete vehicles back to gov deals. We acclimated our new mechanic to the work setting, the workload, and expectations, and he is hitting the center of the dartboard every day. I'm thrilled about that. We secured tools for him for road responses to vehicle breakdowns, and later on you'll vote an amendment to get the fleet mechanic a service truck. The truck that he's in has over 240,000 miles on it, and we want to use not extra cash but existing cash that's unspent to get him a service truck. We fit him also with the Droid phone so that he can be more effective in the field. He can take pictures, he can talk to the parts stores from the field, and they can actually communicate with pictures and make things make sense and get cars running faster. He also built, as you saw earlier, he built that, that report for you guys, which now has discrete, real, very accurate data in it that's going to help us trend what we need over time. It's going to lead us down a path where we can bid out tires, we can bid out batteries, alternators, belts, wiper blades, and with the infusion of a rationalization to one kind of police car over time, that's going to help all that make sense and get us to a better cost long term. And that's the Public Works report for April.
Good job. Got lots of really good compliments on the things that's being done around the city. I get emails, I get phone calls talking about how good the city's looking, the hard work that's going on over there, and compliments. I get people actually calling. They've had to call out sewer or water. They were very pleased with the customer service, so that's huge.
Thank you.
We like getting those compliments.
Thank you.
I guess the most question I get asked is when the completion date of Mason Road or water project?
The water project is more or less done now with the tie-in that happened on Monday, okay? At this point, the line is live, and we have to go back in and start paving. So I got that from TDOT just today, an email that they hope to be out there within a week or so, 5 business days, actually resurfacing. So at that point, I mean, we've seen Hoover move really fast. I don't know why LoJack or their subcontractor couldn't. But once they start, I'd like to think that this is likely a 1 or a 2 day job. So hopefully by mid-May, maybe the 15th, don't hold me to that, but I'm hoping and guessing and working towards that May 15th, Mason Road is a new road.
Thank you. Human Resources?
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. The report for this month, as far as new hires, we had 5. We had 1 internal posting. We also had quite a few turnovers this month. We had about almost 50% of our turnovers for the year, or at 17 this month. 1 due to performance, that was a termination. 2 of those due to changes in the structure and elimination of the rental assistant position. So 2 of the 3 terminations are due to that. Also, we had several resignations, one of them because of another job, additional pay, so we couldn't match that. But as noted earlier, we had 5 new hires as well. As far as appeals, we had 2. Both of those resulted in no change. As far as charges and mediations, as far as new ones, we had none. We've been successful this year in closing out some existing litigation. We're up to 4 on that, and we'll continue to be very active in that. I thank Evan for his support, and we're trying to stay with our attorneys on that. We had activity on 3 of those cases, including responses to interrogatories as well as production items, which is quite timely, but we got that done. As far as staffing has been a big month for us and a lot of interviews. We learned not to say that we're fully staffed because it only calls, even if you knock on wood, it'll cause other things. As far as the reports on the bottom, we're going to be a month behind on some of the stuff on the health care costs, so that'll, going forward, that'll lag a month behind. But we had 92,000 independent claims, 90,007 in employee claims, so a total claim for March of 182,007. About 34% of that was in 1 department, and about 62% of that was in 4 departments. So we had some high-dollar claims this month as well. We continue to monitor that. As you know, in the future, I'll be making some recommendations to the board on ways that we can continue to manage health care costs. It's just expensive, so not a whole lot we can do about that. And that's all I have.
Any questions?
Thank you for where you put me in the lineup.
Thank you. All right, now we get to do the fun stuff. We're going to start tonight with a young man who really brought light to Laverne. As you all know, we had Surviving the Storm here in Laverne, and it was graciously hosted by the Grace Church here. And we had a young man, as you all were watching probably, standing up there, and Nancy Van Camp was asking all these questions, and this young man stood up and answered the question, and she was speechless. Because we were all, and even Alderman Broker looked at me, and I looked at him, we're like, was that staged? It was not staged. And at this time, I would like Mr. Caleb Martinez to come up here, please. And I am going to let our city librarian, please step up, Miss Teresa. The reason we're bringing Miss Teresa up here is when he answered the question, Miss Van Camp asked him, well, young man, how did you learn that? He said, well, I went to the city library and checked out a book from the Laverne Public Library. So what better advertisement than that? So at this time, I personally, from the city, now we're going to let you do this one, would like to have Miss Teresa give you a very, very special honor.
Caleb, I'm going to read it to you. It says, the City of Laverne and Laverne Public Library recognize Caleb Martinez for his excellent answer to a very tough question and for advertising the library so well, and hereby name him Honorary Library Spokesperson on this First Day of May 2012.
And look inside. And she even gave you a very special presentation to thank you for being such a great supporter of the Laverne Library. May 2012. That's yours. Let's take Miss Kathy too. Okay. Now, Miss Tyson, you need to watch out for this young man. He's trying for your job. Good job, and we're so proud of you. Thank you. Okay. Good job. Thank you, Miss Teresa. At this time, unfortunately, our Employee of the Month could not be with us tonight, but I would like to tell you a little bit about him. It's about Doris. We all know him as Bubba Hartman. The reason Mr. Hartman was chosen for this award, as you know, he is a meter reader. He's, I think, our lead man for the meter reading. He had been watching. They go out as they read the meters. He was watching a house that he knew was vacant, had been off for several years. He got to watching, notice activity, continued to watch, check the meter, found out that this meter, the locks had been cut. He reported it in, and I think it was a sum of roughly, it was quite up there, I think about $2,000 that he saved the city right there. And I mean, that was huge. And so this is an appreciation. I won't read it because he is not here. But I do want you to know that Bubba Hartman was chosen as our Employee of the Month, and we'll recognize him. We'll make him get up here next month. But we do need to recognize that. That was hard work. All of our employees do great jobs. So just wanted to read that. And next, I think the chief has some awards to give. We have our own Hawaii 5-0 right here.
Oh, no. I've often said that women run my life. They run my life at home because there's so many girls there. Even both of the cats are girls. Women run my life at work. If it wasn't for Tony, sometimes I don't know if I could find my way out of the building, much less down the hallway. But Tony left tonight before I could get the presentations. The presentation folders, but guys, I used your color. Okay? We had an incident with Laverne Police Department a few weeks ago. There was a kind of a short pursuit, I guess you might say. And then there was another pursuit. The first one had 4 wheels. The next one was 2-legged pursuit. And there were some folks who were very close by at Station 1. Now, Assistant Chief McCormick told me that I thought he said it was the P shift, and I thought that meant the pink shift. But I found out that it wasn't. It was Bravo shift there at Station 1. There were some young men there that stepped up, stepped out, went above and beyond. And we want to recognize them tonight because they downed this fella. And as a result of his capture, we were able to make the arrest, transport him, and prosecute him. We're in the process of doing that. And he had over 3 ounces of crack cocaine. And that's well over $6,000 to $7,000 worth of crack. That's a lot of crack, folks. But I'm going to read this once, and then I'll announce the additional names. Chief's Award of Excellence presented to Engineer Nick Matthews of the Laverne Fire Department. Your quick action and assistance without regard to your personal safety result in a fleeing drug felon being captured and brought to justice. In recognition of your brave actions, it is my honor to present you this Chief's Award of Excellence for Citizen Bravery this first day of May in the year of our Lord 2012. Nick.
Thank you so much. Y'all stay up here. Stay up here for pictures. Stay up here.
Who's Alex? Alex Krotz, firefighter Alex Krotz, isn't here tonight, so I'm going to give this to Nick. I don't want to give it to the assistant chief. I'm afraid he might forget it and leave it somewhere, but I'm going to give it to Nick and let him take it back. Firefighter, I'm going to call him Chad Williams. Malcolm. When I was at Public Works, he ran off and left me and went to the fire department, but that's okay, because I did that. I have done that for a number of years, too, just to get paid for it. And last but not least is firefighter John Rutledge, Jr. And I assure you, when I get Miss Tony back, where she can take care of me and help me find those presentation folders, we'll get you presentation folders, okay? Blue ones, though.
But we have named them the 5-0 team.
They are. They are.
Thank you guys very much.
And I must say, they actually ran after him and tackled him and downed him, so it was a little bit more than just being there.
Thank you, Chief. See, I always said, do not make a firefighter mad. They will get you. Good job, guys.
Yeah, just remember God created police officers and firefighters to have ego.
Oh. Oh, that's great. All right, we're going to move. Got to have some fun. All right, we're going to move into the regular business meeting. We're going to start with the consent agenda items. We did discuss this at great length during our workshop, which they are televised live. So if I have a motion to approve or to deny the consent item agendas.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Green. Aye. Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron. Alderman Roper.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 5. This is a motion to approve the administrator's position for the Local Emergency Planning Committee. Mr. Bruce Richardson is acting interim administrator and doing a very good job. And at this time, I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Bruce Richardson to the LEPC board at this time.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next will be a vote to remove a position, Michael Wilson, from the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Do I have a motion to remove Mr. Wilson from the committee?
Motion to remove.
I have a motion to remove. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 6, ordinance 2012-5, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year general fund budget and capital plan for 2 public works vehicles. Again, the money is in here. We're just changing the line items.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 7, first reading, ordinance 2012-06, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year police impact fees fund budget for communication equipment. Again, this is simple line changes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to. Go ahead.
I have a motion from Alderman Green and a second from Alderman Broker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 8, first reading, ordinance 2012-07, an ordinance of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2012 and ending June 30th, 2013.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. While we're on this, I will say Bruce has been working diligently. This will be online for viewing tomorrow. So that will be online. And I apologize. Y'all stop me if you have questions. Do I have any questions
Yes,
at this
ma'am.
time?
Just discussion. While we may not be actually part of this, next month we'll vote on our non-for-profits. And I would like to, we have a month now where we can look for options when it comes to pause. As some people know, we've had some issues again with pause as late as today. I really believe at this point they'll never reach the standards that we want for our city. And if nothing else, look if there's any other options, whether it be a private company or even in-house, if that would be possible. We have this month where we can kind of look that over. Again, without getting into any detail, I don't think pause will ever step up to the level that we expect them to. So,
We'll have to look into seeing about the, maybe some companies or something like that we can, I guess we just have to look into that. I know there's companies out there.
well, I guess there's some options, and it may be that we stay status quo, but right now, again, it's my hope that we can find something else that we can raise the level of animal control here in Laverne. So.
And we have had several issues.
Yes, ma'am.
Several. Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker?
Aye.
Alderman Waldron?
No.
Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Alderman Green? And I vote aye. Number 9, first reading, ordinance 2012-08, an ordinance to amend Title 15, Chapter 6 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding no parking on the street and amend Title 15, Chapter 7, Section 15-703 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the enforcement of illegal parking.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Now I will open this up for questions or comments. This is parking on the street only. And all this is doing is reworking the verbiage so it is very, very clear about the parking issue.
I think that it's also should be said again that we can date it back to at least 1985 where it has been illegal. This is not making it illegal. It's just cleaning up any confusing language, as you said.
Absolutely. Has everybody, Chief, have you had a chance to look over this as well? on the street. I think you had made some comments earlier. I just want to make sure everything's out.
The only thing that we had is when you asked the question at the workshop about,
And that was made clear.
could it be ignored? And I think there would have to be a provision in the ordinance itself that would say that we could do that, or, you know, there's officer discretion in every violation and issuance of citations, but this is something you would have to be extremely careful about. You know, there are extenuating circumstances for someone running a little over the speed limit, whether it's getting to a hospital or a sick child at school. I mean, there are a lot of reasons for that. But with the parking, you know, that's going to be a problem, I think. And we're either going to have to cite or not cite.
All right.
And I would leave as to how to handle that up to council. I don't know if there's a way to do that or not.
But like I said, at this, we've got to make it is already on our books. We've got to make it clear at this gesture. We've got to make it very, very clear. And that's what we're doing at this time, is making, like you said, the language clear in it.
Right.
Not to confuse this, but again, I think we have an issue, not just now, but looking to the future. Again, as we talked at the workshop, with the way things were allowed to develop. Right now, we have 35,000 people roughly. Census says we're going to grow to 55,000. So if it's a problem now, imagine what it's going to be then. If we can continue to look at this ordinance, how we can change it, if possible, to be parking on one side of the street or in certain areas. Certainly understand that emergency services, that would have to come first. We have to get the vehicles through. But again, I know there's other cities that we have that have had the same issue. So if we can continue looking at this and trying to work something out for the residents. And that's kind of different than what we're voting on, but that's just kind of my wishes right now.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 10, first reading, ordinance 2012-09, an ordinance to amend Title II, Chapter 6 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the Local Emergency Planning Committee. This is adding one member from the Parks and Recreation Department, which is the director, and this is what we're doing to that, to add him.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 11, first reading, ordinance 2012-10, an ordinance to amend Title 18, Chapter 3, Section 18-306 of the Municipal Code regarding grinder pumps. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
I make a motion to
Second.
approve.
I have a motion to approve. I have a second. Now I will open it up for questions, comments, or concerns.
Just clarification. Somebody had asked me about this. Again, I think it was spelled out at the workshop. It is kind of going to be a 3 strikes and you're out type deal. It's not going to be a walk up tomorrow and here's a, you know, it's basically if you violate, you're going to get a letter or so on. That's basically how it's going to happen. And on the third time, then
All customers get a first letter. It's educational. At the point they're found to be offending, they get a warning letter. At the point they're found to be offending twice, the cost to replace or repair is now on the customer. That's always been in the code. It's just we've never had the tool to enforce it,
okay.
if that makes sense.
And this is for people that abuse the system, constant flushing of items that should never be flushed. That tears the grinder pumps up, and that's a huge cost to the citizens. Okay, do I have any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll do a roll call on this one as well. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green. And I vote aye. Motion carries. Number 12, motion to approve bid for the Fergus Road Sidewalk Project. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve going back to sessions. Is that,
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Motion to approve.
okay?
Second.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
And I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 13, motion to approve a 6-month extension to the agreement with TAMCO for the existing city telephone system. I need a motion to approve or to deny.
Make a motion to deny it.
Okay, I have a motion to deny.
We don't really have a choice unless we're going to lose all of our phones and everything, so what do we do?
Okay, this is what we need to do. I have a motion to deny. If I can get a second on that, then I can open it up for discussion and we'll get TJ up
I'll
here.
give you a second for
Okay.
discussion.
For discussion. Now, okay, Ms. Green, you're right.
My question is, what do we do? I mean, if they're going to take all the phones and everything, what's the city going to do without phones?
Right, they will come in and remove all network and telecom communication equipment.
There's some good news to this, what I understand. The actual contract ran out March 9th. It is 6 months from that day, which would take us to September 9th, which it would take basically that long, thereabouts, to get someone else in line. I certainly don't want to go past 6 months.
Right.
And I also wonder if there's any clause where if we get it earlier, that what we don't want to do is duplicate payment to whomever. So was there anything in there, do you remember, whether we can buy out early or get out early?
Well, I'll comment to the extent I've been provided with a copy of their addendum, and you'll note on the addendum, you'll see a line drawn through several places in there. That's my writing. I've marked through several provisions in there that I didn't want, and I understand that TAMCO was okay with what was changed. Frankly, I think we can go back and ask them for anything that we want at this point. So now I haven't talked to anybody at TAMCO. TJ's been the person. I've just reviewed the contract, but I don't know, TJ, you may not want to go back and tell them that the board's not comfortable with 6 months, and maybe we want to add some language that I could come up with that would let us get out of this at the point in time where we obtain a new phone system. And I do think they have a little incentive to work with us, because I think under some theory at least they're going to want to probably apply when the new RFP goes out. They're
Yes.
probably going to want to submit a bid. So they have a little bit of incentive, at least in my mind, to try to make us happy when it comes to this.
And also, if we're in negotiation, I think they'd be less likely to pull the plug.
Yeah.
And again, in the process, we're starting bid processes and so on.
So do you think our best interest would be to vote on Vice Mayor's motion to deny it as written, or go on and vote, and then?
I would probably recommend deferring it and then authorizing TJ and I to negotiate with them and see if we can't get a better deal than what we've got before us.
And I'd be happy if we could get out of it.
That
in
would
less
be
than
much
6
more
months.
comfortable with that.
I just don't want to extend it for 6 months.
Okay, so at this point, what I need one of two things.
I can retract it.
If
Is that what
you
I
would
do?
retract
I'll retract it.
your motion.
I make a motion to defer.
Okay, wait, let me get
He has to withdraw his motion, then you've got to withdraw your second.
Why
Oh,
would-
she-
Oh,
okay.
you had the second, okay.
Okay,
I withdraw it.
okay, and then Alderman Green withdrew her second. Okay,
Motion to defer,
and then,
and giving our IT director and our city attorney time to renegotiate or go back and get more favorable language to the city.
is that good?
Or try to.
Right, is that, okay? All right, so I have a motion to defer, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, and I have a second to defer. All those in favor of deferring this item?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Number 14, this is a motion to appoint an interim fire marshal. And this will also give us time to, we've got to make some adjustments into our ordinance where it refers to a fire marshal. I think it's going to be changed to a fire inspector, but we still, at this time, in our ordinances, it refers to fire marshal. So we have to appoint an interim fire marshal until we get all the details worked out. And at this time, I would like to make a motion to appoint Ricky McCormick as the fire marshal until we get all the details worked out and hire an inspector. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Good job. Okay, we'll start with Mayor and Alderman comments. Alderman Green?
I can't really think of anything. Don't forget the senior prom Saturday night.
Okay. Sounds like
What
fun.
time is it start?
Starts, I think, at 5:30, doesn't it? 5:30.
5:30. Okay.
And we have to be home before dark.
I'll chaperone.
I need,
We got to chaperone you.
somebody's got to. I don't have anybody.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Vice Mayor? Alderman Walbert?
Just, I don't have anything, just hot weather's on us, just remember the pets, make sure they got shade and plenty of water, because them little fellas will get hot. Take care of your pets. That's it.
Alderman Broker?
Just want to remind everyone, I believe within the next 10 days or so, Code Red will be up and running. You'll have the ability to opt in. It's your choice whether you want to, or how many phones, or work phone, cell phone, so on. But please be looking for that. I think it's going to be a real asset to the city. That's it.
All right. I'm going to begin with the Nashville Clean Water Project, which is Saturday. When you leave, we do have these available. Outside, there is a website. It's www.cleanpercypriest.org. You may go on here and you have to pre-register, I believe, at this website. And a clean t-shirt. So please, if you're available, all the information, Ms. Tyson, do we have this on our website anywhere? Okay. Okay, so all this information, please come out if you can. Help there. Also, we've had a great month. Like I said, surviving the storm. It was wonderful. All the participation that was there. It was really a good time. It's good to be back. Thanks everyone again for all your prayers, calls, concerns, jokes, all of that. It made it go easier, so I no longer have a black eye. Did we forget something?
It was 5 to 7:30 for the senior prom.
5
5
to
to
7:30.
7:30.
Okay, 5 o'clock.
See, we would have been late if you'd listened to me.
Okay, I think if we covered everything, everybody.
Mayor, one last thing. Reserve Lieutenant Boone has more of the blue ribbons. If anyone wants extra, you're more than welcome to get them as you go, and then we'll have some hopefully here and then at the PD too for the citizens who may want them too.
Also, I'm glad you spoke up. We have a champion in the room. I believe Miss Michaela Walker's team took home the championship in softball. Very proud of her. Also, I'm going to do a little bragging for him because he won't. You know, during the TCAP, we have the writing assessments. We're going to try to bring these kids up and let everyone see them. But Michaela was one of 8 that scored a 6 in our writing assessment. That's the highest score that you can make. So we're real proud of one of our own for doing that. She's showing us all up, Mike.
She does not take that after her mama, though.
Oh. Oh.
But we're always real proud of our children. We like to brag on them. So anytime any of you have anything, whether it's niece, nephew, somebody in the community, we like to get that good word out. So just let us know. But that's a huge accomplishment there. So we like to, I think, Vice Mayor, you're moved in already, and that's new for you. Glad to have you there. So we welcome everybody to attend all the meetings. This meeting is adjourned.